You see, pioneers, the fact that you're still alive and breathing that beautiful deep breath of prana, of Merkaba, of breath and life force, and the fact that you're still here in this matrix is because you have a mission, a purpose to fulfill. And even though it's been a heartache after heartache in this dog-eat-dog world, and it's been trials and tribulations and challenges, and it's just been rough here in the matrix, in life. And yes, sometimes we may get discouraged and uninspired to keep going. But the universe, God, the cosmos, whatever you believe in, has a plan for us, predestined for us. See, you will always grow through what you go through, but are you gonna be willing to go through it, to grow out of it on the other side? The metamorphosis, when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly. Are you gonna make that life change? Don't be sad, be grateful. Don't dwell, do. Don't complain, create. You got this. We got this. Our voices can change the world. As long as there's breath in my lungs, I'm never gonna stop. I'm always gonna speak to you, enlighten you. And as long as there's breath in my lungs, there's always gonna be hope in my heart. And that's what I want to inspire to you all. No matter what storm, your struggle, your trauma you're going through, your abuse, your wounds, your scars, no matter what they are, you are not them. You are not a product of your past, your environment, or your current situation. You were always a product of your mind and your objective and the ability to navigate through any storm. But you always have to be a product of someone that's going to be willing to make sacrifices and do the work. You see, everybody's waiting for perfect, and that's an illusion that will never come to us. A false reality. It's an excuse for us to never show up and show out. Do the work, put in the grind. Your story is not meant to be your movie. Your story has always been meant to be your fuel. You cannot win against the world if you can't win a war against your own mind. The dream is not going to wait for you. It's not going to allow you to take a breather, to take a day off. It's going to say, come get me. Show me you want it. Catch me if you can. You got to block out all the negativity and the noise around you that's going to tell you you can't, because you got to believe in you and believe that you can. You got to tell yourself, I am more than my circumstances, my situation. I'm tired of being complacent with where I am. I'm going to go get it. I'm going to battle my demons. I'm going to sweat. I'm going to put in the work, blood, sweat, and tears. Grind, fourth quarter overtime, and go get it, son. I'm going to show up and show out. If you're ever going to see breakthrough in your life, then you're going to have to be okay with getting knocked down and the process that's required in you to get back up and keep fighting. You got to go where no one's never been before to have what you never had before. But you got to start with changing the way you think. You got to believe you can. Believe it's possible for you to have it, to make it. Don't lay down, Netflix and chill, TikTok, fantasy football, wasting your time, your macabre, your energy, your life force. Start thinking about the future. Ask yourself, what would amazing look like for me? As long as your heart is pumping blood throughout your body, you're not dead yet. So why you being lazy? Just because you put in 40 hours at the workplace doesn't mean you put in anything for you and your life. Just because you may, do a little bit of schoolwork and work a little job, are you really working and doing for you? Are you building a business, being creative, changing the world? Are you being the change that you want to see in the world right now, today, instead of someday? See, they ain't put rose petals on your body yet. They ain't buried you yet. Make every second of every minute of every hour of every day count for something. Because what you believe in your hearts and speak in your minds will eventually become your words and your reality one day. And what you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset. And what gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset becomes an unconscious action and an unconscious activity. And I've always just wanted mine to be guideful, helpful, and nurturing to others, because it's about giving a man or woman a fish so that they can eat for a day, but then leaving them that fishing rod and teaching them how to fish so that they can eat for a lifetime, but then also teaching them how to farm so that they can one day spread that love and feed nations. So sending you all much love and high vibrations out to wherever you are in this matrix and galaxy on this beautiful Sunday, day of the sun, September 25th. a day we have been waiting on and talking about for quite some time. So welcome to another episode of the Daily Candle Close News. We're here, a moment that only comes around once every 7 years, and we've been tracking this event here at the Daily Candle Close News for over a year now, and here we are. It's here. So in today's video, I'm going to be covering a lot of things and then going over some TA, a little decode, and just hanging out, exposing what this means for the crypto market and the stock market as a whole as we get ready to cap off the end of this 7-year sabbatical cycle, and again, more importantly, the 7-year sabbatical cycle, heading into the 50-year Biblical Jubilee. So for anyone that's new to this channel, welcome, glad to have you here, much love and high vibrations. View this with discernment, the ability to judge well, and then go off and do your own due diligence when viewing this work. Take what resonates with you inside on a moral basis, intuition basis, and then go from there. And if it's not for you, then say what you mean, but don't say it mean. And if you're not aware what this 7-year cycle is, I'm talking about the Shmita, and it is the 7-year Biblical Jubilee cycle that we've spoke about like a broken record for over a year now. And this is now coming up to the end of the Shmita year. What we're talking about here being the start of the Biblical Jubilee. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis combined with numerology, gematria, astrology, pi, the periodic table of elements, the golden ratio of phi, prehistoric data from a prehistoric world, common sense, facts, figures, numbers, logic, to help us understand, so we can understand, so we can understand this world and these markets and these things that we see take place in the lives that we live every day. So, if it's something that you like, and, share this, hit the like button so that we can grow this community to more like-minded individuals. So again, sending you much love. Kick back, relax, grab your favorite drink, your favorite beverage and snack, light up your favorite strand, pop your favorite psychedelic, whatnot. Let's kick this video off. So again, today being Sunday, September 25th, the start of Rosh Hashanah, the eve of Rosh Hashanah, starting tonight, and we see that right here, something we've spoken about for quite some time. Also today being the next new moon, so something we pay attention to here is the lunar cycles. And I expect this weekend right here, heading into tomorrow, the first full day of Tishri, and the end of the 7-year sabbatical cycle, the Shmita, that started on September 7th last year, so the 26th. And Rosh Hashanah is a multiple day event, like it showed us right here. And it ends at nightfall on September 27th. So we'll be speaking about this as we get ready to head into tomorrow when the stock market opens back up. Just very important. This weekend is something we've been watching closely in the markets. This whole week that we're transitioning into, and the few months after the Shmita, is going to be a very interesting time frame. And remember, this is the new moon time frame today, and the end of the 7-year sabbatical cycle. It's the start of the 50-year Jubilee. We've got 2 major eclipses coming up, heading into a very powerful 2023 year, that 223 year, tying us into our favorite pals at Skull and Bones University, the Brotherhood of Death. So just a time period that I've been preaching about for 3 years, where I believe we could see major change start to happen in our world and realm, our matrix we live in. So a very powerful time we're heading into. Perhaps maybe you start to see this energy in your life come in, maybe some chaos or just some excitement or just some, newness. Or maybe it's just been hard for you to sleep lately, or just to cope with life, and maybe every time you are around people you're just in a bad mood, or maybe the opposite. Every time you look at a clock, you're seeing these very powerful repeating numbers like 222 in the 2022 year, or 1111, or 333, waking up at 3 o'clock or 3:30 in the morning. This is really that time frame astrologically where we tend to see these things. This is not by accident. These 7-year and 50-year cycles are very important astrologically. They bring a lot of energy, changing currency, war, fall of empires, financial collapses, just all kinds of crazy things. And there's a lot more to mention about this time period, and it's something we've been speaking about. Again, maybe 99% of humanity has no idea what's coming and heading our way, and that's where we get to be the ones ready for anything coming our way that we're gonna see most of the world fall for. We're prepared. We're a very rare group. The pioneers here on the Daily Candle Close News have been aware of this Shmita and Jubilee for months, if not over a year now. And if you're brand new and open-minded to the knowledge, gnosis, wisdom that we share, then again, it's great to have you here with us. I've recently done a lot of work around this, 2 special videos, and then just spent my entire month of September just trying to get as much data and information out to you all as possible, because it's just so very important to get this out. And plus, I'm going to be taking a few days off. My son's birthday is September 27th. He'll be turning 11. My mom's birthday is coming up on October 2nd. Just going to be spending a lot of time off and, in nature and just enjoying life, because crypto and investing and, the news, etc., entertainment, sports, that's not life. Living is life. And when you're living in reverse, you're living in evil. Live in reverse is EVIL, okay? And when you're living in reverse, you're not living, you're merely existing. And that's something I like to always do, is just be out in nature. So during this important time period, I'm going to be spending it with family. It's all love, Not a lot, though, has really been on my mind. I've been really cool, calm, and collective with this time period, It's been a repetitive, broken record theme in my work for quite some time, and I've luckily been able to build and be grateful for the community that I've built here on the platforms that I've got, and, where I've exposed these things. And it's really grateful to be here with all you pioneers, and I'm blown away that this event is finally here. This time period is finally here. And the more we get closer towards the end of the year, I'm really confident that we're going to start to see some of this change and things that we've been preparing you all for financially heading into next year. You know, the masses are going to be typically blindsided about what's about to happen, and this isn't about predictions or, you know, being right and wrong. It's more about being prepared and ready for what happens next. And what happens next might not be what we think and what we've speculated about or what we think, or, you know, so we just need to keep that in mind as well. But we're gonna go ahead and kick this video off. Obviously we know what today is, leading into tomorrow, the end of the Shmita. Today, this evening, is the eve of Rosh Hashanah, a multi-day event that ends on September 22nd. So again, just a very powerful day and time period. These dates we've spoken about. We might speak about a few more coming up towards the end of this video to look out for, but I've really got that already packed in to all my work previously. So again, if you haven't seen that, go check it out and be informed of where we're at and what we're heading into. So let me get a drink of water, excuse me. For 3 years now, I based my work around the 1971 and, you know, through 1975 markets and time periods around the Richard Nixon shock, because I knew it was something that we was gonna repetitively cycle back through, and it's something we've obviously been witnessing and sharing in a grandiose, multiple fashion, and I don't know how many videos for 2 years now. And you know, I'm comparing this time period right now to the Nixon shock. Y'all know this. And 2 years later, after that, we had the start of what was called the 1973 to 1975 recession. And I see us right now going into a very similar thing again, where we saw stagflation and high unemployment and high inflation all existing simultaneously at the same time, post a war narrative back then, but now we've got the Russia-Ukraine narrative, Biden allegedly coming out and, you know, basically getting us involved with the China, Taiwan, and you know, possibly Russia narrative that we've prepared you all for here quite some time now as well. You know, I don't think we're going to have a Great Depression though. I think this is going to be a short-term, possible till 2024-25 short-term recession, very similar to this time period. This was the last 50-year Jubilee. So a Great Depression, I don't believe, is coming right now, you know, and this is my truth, and I'm willing to be wrong and have speculations and an adult conversation with someone about this. But, you know, all these people out here screaming that the dollar is going to collapse, and you know, these gold bugs are, you know, piling into gold and silver, even though it's completely in a downtrend. And I've been meaning to bring the charts up and share that with you all and just speculate on some movement in gold and silver, and I might make a certain video on that. But we know that the dollar, the DXY index, is something I've been sharing with you all, that during the Shmita year is a deflationary time period for the dollar. And, you know, we're not going to see the dollar collapse anytime soon, but we will see a mini recession. And, you know, right now, seeing this blow past that 111 range where the 1618 was, heading up towards this, you know, where our grandiose multi-year cup and handle pattern brought us up to around that 115, towards that, probably maybe as high as that 117, maybe 11.7 on the last eclipse this year. On November 7th, we might see a $117 dollar DXY currency index, or, you know, that 119, who knows. But, you know, the speculation around a dollar collapsing right now is just nonsense. Not during the Shmita year. We see it at a deflationary time period where the dollar just wages war all over the world, and we've seen this. So during this recession, the short-term recession that we might experience, we could see some of the liquidity from, you know, if we were to get some kind of pullback in this lull or whatever in the dollar currency index after it finishes its, climb and rage to the top that it's been in, just this parabolic multi-year uptrend, we could see some of that liquidity flow into things like cryptocurrencies and some of the altcoins over this time period, 2023, 24. Who knows? We really need to see things like these just nonsense cryptos go away. And I believe, again, we speculated that we could see a Lehman Brothers event and a dot-com bubble experience where we see a lot of just cryptos go to absolute zero and just money gone, kind of like the Terra Luna event where now they're searching for this Do Kwon guy and have charges brought up against him, etc. Where we saw Terra Luna hit $119 top before selling off basically 100% down to zero. We know there's a lot of nonsense and things that really need to go away that could also provide some liquidity. Just very akin to the dot-com bubble, and I really want you all to be prepared about this, something we've been speaking about for quite some time. We're in a very, very important, volatile, where anything can happen time period, where they're probably going to hide this around some kind of event or war narrative, cyber attack, or alien invasion, or whatever. So we've just got to be prepared for it. So this is going to be the most transformative time of any 7-year cycle that we can possibly talk about. Like, this is it, and this could set us up for life. Those that are asleep for the next 7 years are going to miss out on the greatest opportunity ever. But the pioneers that are paying attention to what we're speaking about and teaching about, this is going to be life. Okay? So the things and nonsense that we're seeing that we're gonna see come up, these next events, whatever they are, this is telling me that we're entering a new era, a new age, a new cycle within itself, and we've seen major hints to this, all year long, especially since C19, we've been going through this monetary change. If you've been paying attention to Congress and the central bankers and the things that they've been implementing behind the scenes, it's kind of like a mind-blowing concept. And especially as we're about to head into this next year, the Jubilee year, it's just going to be a financial complete 360, and I want all of you to be prepared. This Hebrew year of 5783 is going to be the most epic Hebrew year that some of us might ever experience in our lifetime, so even some of our kids ever, and then the next Hebrew year after that, 2028, 2029 is going to be a complete restructure where I do see a possible complete collapse of the US dollar, where we see possibly kind of like this Shiva, this destruction, rebuild energy, so just something that we brought up as well. We've seen a lot of destruction, and we've connected this character, this Hindu god, to a lot of this. So I'm really paying attention to this next sabbatical year, 2028-29, for that dollar collapse that all these gold bugs and everybody's screaming about. I just wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way and bring that up before we start talking more about the dollar currency index and the Dow Jones some. But to continue to see this just ramp and roar like we prepared you for since April, May, our last eclipses, this is not good for crypto. We can continue to see this keep bringing the cryptocurrency market down even further. So something we'll just have to continue to keep an eye on. But let's get started talking about this dollar currency index and the Dow Jones a little bit more. Sorry for the pause. And any noise you may hear in the background, like that right there, terribly sorry. I was gonna lock my cat out of the room, but she always yells at me and gets mad at me when I do, so. But anyways, you guys know I've had this 1618 in fib pool from our recent high for, since July, when we were getting cryptocurrency lows in the market. And one of the things I've been talking about is how, again, this is a deflationary time period. It's going to look positive on the dollar, and we're going to see breakouts where we see that causing the euro and the yen and all these other currencies around the world just decrease in their value, and it's going to wage war. I mean, some of these protests and things you've seen all around the world is because the inflation rates are so high, and that's got a lot to do with the dollar, and that's got a lot to do with the Shmita year. It's just how it goes. So I do think that the euro, the pound, the yen, the peso, it's just going to continue to get worse, and we're going to continue to see a spike in this DXY. It's just how high, We've been talking about this 1618, and this is a red hot zone, and that's why it's colored red. So anything up here, we know this can go as high as the 4.236, so roughly that 123, possibly that 124. That's pretty overextended, but previously almost reaching our previous 1618 too. So fixed, I really do think. But ever since we got back above this 702, the golden pocket, I mean, we've just broke out and came back, retested this range down here, the low 1618 or the 0618, which is the start of the golden pocket, and it has just been an uptrend since. I think this has much more room to go, and again, that could be detrimental to stocks and cryptocurrencies, and we've talked about this and shared this in the past, so go study about that. This RSI, I know it's hard to read these other certain oscillators and indicators on the DXY and certain things, but it is getting kind of overheated. So to see a pullback, maybe retest this 110, maybe 107 or 108, possibly, could see that before we see this. Any pullback in this could give some liquidity into the altcoins or cryptocurrency stocks, bringing them up. But with that being said, because I know this has a lot more room to grow, that's going to show me the Dow Jones has more room to grow. So that tells me that the deflationary spike for the dollar may not be over, and it may just continue to climb up towards this 115, 119 range, maybe even slightly overextend like we've talked about. So that wouldn't be surprised even if we did see that around Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year, or the October eclipse, October 25th, or the November eclipse. We could see this kind of hang out in a low sideways, or just pull back and just zigzag pattern. Who knows? I don't think it's just going to keep going parabolic straight up right now. We'll just have to see though. But again, that's causing Dow Jones to just drain off. It's been closed since Friday the 23rd. It's going to open tomorrow morning, which is the end of the Shmita. That's going to be very, very important. We all remember 1987 and Black Monday. Here we are talking about this time period with a rejection from the golden pocket recently, back here in August 15th, around the Richard Nixon shock of 1971. So I no longer think we're in a Elliott wave pattern theory. We've obviously set a lower low in structure, and we've been given this. We've been sharing this, how the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 have done this not only in 2001, in 2008 as well, during Shmita years. The Dow Jones, we can go back to 1973 and compare it to even then, roughly 50 years ago. And We can go back 50 plus years and look at the Shmita years and see some of these correlations, especially during the 2001 and 2008 for the Dow Jones as well. So I want us to continue to pay attention to the indices. If they continue to drain down, that's going to bring crypto and altcoins down as well. So regardless of things like XRP and a few cryptocurrencies pumping, even though we've exposed why recently, it's nothing goes straight down. It's always gonna go in a pattern, a corrective wave, like an A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down, a pulsive wave, corrective wave. Remember that. We teach this. These are trading opportunities. Don't date these cryptos or these stocks. Don't hate it. Just trade it, okay? So very important. So that's enough said. We'll look at the S&P 500. It's the same thing. We can pretty much invalidate this. And anything can happen. Nothing's going to be perfect and follow every rule and technical analysis, etc. But we've just came to retest this 236, the bottom of it, pretty much retesting our June lows. So until we see an obvious reversal, we can possibly just continue to see these indices drain off even more post Shmita, where we tend to see big, huge market volatility during these Shmita years that we've discussed. The NASDAQ is still kind of doing its thing, holding the 382, but it could just be behind. But this is kind of a bullish cross for the NASDAQ. If this yellow was to get above the red, this is our 223 and our 200 simple moving average. So our 223 exponential and our 200 simple. This will be a bullish cross where we could see the, some kind of volatility coming to the NASDAQ. So very important. U.S. oil has fallen off into a downtrend. So probably coming to retest this $76. Wouldn't be surprising. Previous cluster highs and ranges from July of 2021. So we'll continue to see how low this structure brings us down. But I do tend to see oil rise back up in the near distant future. Right now, oil from its previous, $130 a barrel, down roughly 39%. This has been a pretty grandiose, June to September multi-month. So roughly going on 5 months in a downtrend for oil. I know everybody's enjoying the lower gas prices, but we've got to remember what this year is based around. You've got the November elections coming up, so of course they're going to try and make the economy look the best they can until probably right before or post elections, post maybe both of these eclipses as we get ready to head into December, Saturnalia. So a very ritualistic time period. So we're just going to have to keep this in mind. Just very important. Alright, and I think we'll go ahead and get into some of the Bitcoin technical analysis. We've talked a lot about the indices, oil, total altcoin market cap. We can look at it real quick. Just failing to hold this horizontal trading range, this W pattern breakout of a neckline that we had got, and showing resistance there right now. So until we can see that get back above, treat it as support, and head back up, we might not see the altcoins doing very much. And remember, this is excluding Bitcoin as well. So Bitcoin's not included into this. So very important. Alright. Moving forward. Technical analysis with Bitcoin. Definitely struggling to hold some supports that we've talked about, especially on the weekly time frame. Especially around a new moon in September. I've talked about this, especially around this rare 7-year event heading into this, sometimes only once in a lifetime thing people see, this 50 biblical year jubilee process, failing to hold support of this $19,666 range that we spoke about previously, or this psychological $20,000 range. We know on smaller time frames like the 2 hour, that $19,930 range it's a very pivotal point and range. But on the weekly right here, just showing a complete downtrend and failure to hold a horizontal trading range. Previous rejection right here, and that's obviously again a December of 2017 bull market top before we fell off into a bear market. So we might be in this time period right here again where we're just, after getting a top, which we didn't have a blow off top, we had kind of like a double top in pattern, very bearish, bringing us down into a sideways horizontal trading range. We could be experiencing something before a sharp dip that's bought up pretty quickly over time, possibly just as quick as this C19 narrative right here. Not financial advice, but we've spoken about this possible opportunities. Maybe it doesn't go as low as this 9,000, maybe it's just 12,500, that 12,300, 1, 2, 3, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. It's amazing how sometimes these algorithmic codes play out, but that 14K range, very possible. We're heading into October. Bitcoin, its birthday is October 31st, Samhain, Halloween, and it'll be turning 14 years old. And we know we're in the year of the tiger, the Chinese New Year, giving us 15, giving us 15 when we type out tiger. So all very possible ranges we could see a possible dip down into that we've spoken about. But seeing this weekly right here, this ain't too good, you guys. Bollinger Bands, we definitely got some room to the downside around 15,300 if we were to see a drop to the bottom side of these Bollinger Bands on the weekly. Let's look at the 8s. Yeah, the 8s below the 55 and the 200, that's pretty bearish. We'd like to see this 8 get back above this green, this 200 on a weekly time frame. That could be pretty bullish for Bitcoin, but we'll just have to continue to see just exactly how this plays out. One more indicator, and that's going to be the 200 weekly exponential moving average right there at around 26k. That could be a possibility if we see that. That's not good though to see the 21 crossing the 200 and these all sloping in downward price action. We don't want to see that. But again, the September new moon is bringing bearish energy. This is not a normal year. This is a very particular year where we need to be open-minded to the possibilities that we're still setting a higher low. Very possible W pattern breakout still in the cards. So, but 100 years of data shows that if we don't crash before the Shmita, we crash after the Shmita. So we could still see some room to the downside. And if Bitcoin goes more down, because we've been talking about the stocks going more down and the dollar rising, then these other altcoins are going to go down as well. Even though we see XRP that's been super suppressed lately, still pumping up to that on the weekly time frame. Let's look at this on the daily. Just sitting there above that 200 exponential moving average on the daily. we know that's not surprising. XRP's been completely suppressed. When Bitcoin hit a new all-time high last year, XRP never did. Certain cryptocurrencies never did. So it's been suboptimal, So when XRP was in 2018, at $3.30, Bitcoin was at $19K, $666. But then back over here, XRP was sub $2 when Bitcoin was at $69K. So, this is all balancing. And my last video wasn't trying to offend anybody with the XRP, just giving, again, gut checks and, tough love to the community that I see gets treated the worst and loses the most money because they miss out on the opportunities to take advantage of these, again, very euphoric and grandiose rises and opportunities in ROI, especially for someone that's built a long-term position and been in this market for quite some time. It's just amazing. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I'm just telling you the way it is. We're going to see over this next year a balance, and this is all really starting to come in right now, especially showing in XRP, because we're in the month of Libra, and it has everything to do with balance, you guys. We're in the 38th week of the year, and we teach you this. Look at balance. Giving us that 38 in the Shmita year. Shmita giving us that same 38. In one of my recent videos, when we did technical analysis on XRP, before we ever even saw it hit 38, I told you prepare for a 38-cent XRP in the 38th week of the year. And it's just that simple. Today is the transition into the 38th week of the year. All of this happening in September, you guys. All this balancing is coming in September in the Shmita year, and it's just irrefutable, undeniable. Today is the transition into Tishri in Judaism, giving us that same 83 and 38 that we get in Shmita, the Shmita Jewish Hebrew New Year we are in. So again, starting the first true day of Tishri today, where they blow the shofar, the ram's horn, and in the Shmita year last year, we saw the Rams win the Super Bowl. All very exoteric and important as to why we see this, this balance coming in these cryptocurrencies at these certain times. Bitcoin's down a little bit, doing its own thing, being boring. XRP was doing the same thing, and that's the best time to accumulate, when these things are boring and nobody's interested in them no more. And then they go up 72% from 322, that skull and bones range that we prepared you all for. So, and this again may not be over yet. We'll have to continue to see what happens. But both the stock RSI, the RSI on the daily, getting pretty overheated at 70 and 91. The MACD is still showing it's got some room to grow on the daily, but we'll just have to continue to see what happens. But, people recently brought FUD to me and told me I was, ignorant for selling some recent XRP and sharing it in my last video, and it's like, dude, I've been in this asset for years and I got a family to feed. Like, who are you? Everything's gonna rebalance. It's gonna pull back, and I'll take advantage of the lows, especially if we get a grandiose 22 or less than 27 cent XRP. Limit orders are already set. Don't get offended. Don't join any cults of the Bitcoin maxis or the XRP army or the Ethereum enthusiasts, the Shiba clowns. Open our eyes, you guys. Let's see clearly to the balance that's happening right in front of us. It's ran on an algorithmic code. This market is a teeter-totter, a yin and yang, a balance, up and down. We teach you here. It's all about the Wyckoff method. that we, hope you've been doing your own due diligence on and research on. Markets running supply and demand up and down, and we could finally be witnessing very soon our spring that I've been speaking about, more a few months ago. Said we were entering into a spring. Well, the spring doesn't come first. It's not the first initial dip. The spring, if we were to see one and, enter into a true phase C, what I believe is possible post Shmita, this next few months, entering into the next year, would be one more low, where then we get supply test after SOS, after backup, after last points of supply, and just to climb on up out of here over the next few years. Again, this would be a multi-month and multi-year pattern. But again, investing is moving wealth from the hands of the impatient to the patient, and we've got to remember this. So with the Feds doing everything they're doing, destabilizing the markets, shooting the dollar up, this is all a sign for me to get ready, that we're about to see a market reboot, reset, and that would be the greatest buying opportunity of our life. So I know what I'm doing when I'm de-risking these 72% increases, but you do you. I'll be covering this week to week and, sharing this knowledge, gnosis, wisdom, market psychology, and technical analysis, and just exoteric knowledge and wisdom with you all, but we're all aware here, us pioneers, that this upcoming week and this next few months entering into this next year is a make or break for our lives over the next 50 years. We know this could set our future up for our kids and our grandkids one day. I've been sharing this with you. I've shared with you all the comparisons to this being the same thing as in 1971 and dot-com bubble collapse, and what happened after both of those time periods to everybody who was patient. They won in the end, but only 1% of people plant seeds to eat in the future. Only 1% of people are chosen ones, are pioneers. So, speaking of the Shmita, recently we've been sharing a chart with you all. Not right here. But speaking of the Shmita and how we could possibly see a dip, what if we don't? What if these are the lows that come in? I've recently shared a chart with you all, if I can find it, of how we've got a 10-year plus trend line when looking at this in a logarithmic view. What if we weren't to get a dip like this that we've spoken about recently, like C19, like 2018 bear market? Look at this Shmita year where we got a dip and a retest of this trend line where we're previously at now, and then we just rose in price over the next several months. Basically had a kind of double bottom but a higher low. So look at this, we actually recovered, and I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I can't isolate this and say I can put all our data in this one iteration of one Shmita year that Bitcoin has been through, and it was during a bear market, not a bull market. We entered the Shmita year while in a bull market this year. One thing to just pay attention to is this though. Cryptocurrency can move volatile in a short amount of time period. This was roughly, August, September to November, less than 6 months, you guys. So this may not be identical, but we've got to be prepared for our investment thesis and how we're going to respond to any event. And we can't worry about timing it or anything else. We can't worry about the emotions and the fear and the whatever the news is printing and whatever's going on Twitter. We just got to pay attention to how we respond to the crash or the euphoric price rise. The rest is irrelevant. People who are living through the news and living through the articles and whatever are not the ones that are going to win. pioneers are going to be the ones that make it through the other side highly profitable, okay? Regardless of whatever happens. We can trade this market both ways. So I want the pioneers to be doers, action takers, leaders, and decision makers. People who take and make moves, set an investment thesis, an exit strategy, and stick to it. We will be the few that succeed, and build generations for the future to come. So again, the weekly looks horrible, and I don't like this vibe. We're just holding on for dear life. We gotta see this bullish retest and break and hold a support over the next couple of weeks, 38th, 39th to the 44th week of the year. October, it tends to be, a pretty good time period for Bitcoin. Something we shared is how historically, September sucks, but October, November tend to be the months for Bitcoin. Again, October's the birthday of Bitcoin, so it'll be turning and will be 14 in November. Our next two eclipses are coming up very soon. October the 25th, which is also a new moon, that is an eclipse, and then we will have the November 7th. Bitcoin equals 117.11.7. We teach you this right before our next full moon. Full moons are typically bearish, so we can tend to see this be a pretty dramatic time period if we were to see negative energy and volatility in the markets. And we teach this for over a year now. Bitcoin tends to follow these patterns. Full moons are typically bearish, new moons are typically bullish, so we could see these markets find some kind of volatility from somewhere throughout these next, all the way up until the October new moon, before we start to see a sell-off towards the full moon of November. So just something to keep in mind. We know how these moon patterns work, so very important. But this weekly, like I said, it's not looking very good for Bitcoin. We definitely want to get back above this multi 10+ year trend line, you guys. So if not, we could fall right here to, like I said, around that 14 to this 12.5 range, cluster of wicks. This 1, 2, 3 range. We'll just have to pay attention. This could happen in a flash, though, just like this. Boom. It's right there around October 10th. I think that's when the quarter moons. But anyways, these big crashes post Shmita, they won't give us a lot of time to take action. That's why we have to have limit orders set and buy orders set. And that's why I'm so serious of reiterating a lot of this teaching to you. It can swipe to these levels pretty quickly if it does. And, it would be in a V-shaped recovery. That would be possibly, if we were to see that to some of these ranges, a full 85%, 85% correction. We'll say that. We'll leave it at that. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, about an 82% correction. That can bring Ethereum and XRP down even dramatically more. Probably down to this 1618 for XRP. Down to around that 22 cent. Not my opinion, it's just the way the market works. It's historical data. Crypto is very volatile. It's very over leveraged. I believe a lot of retail has left this market, but there's a lot of unsophisticated leverage traders and still nonsense people buying into Shiba Inu and Rocket and all these nonsense still, and I believe when we see the liquidity of those leave and those projects disappear like the .com bubble, we'll then see the liquidity over time flood back into some of these cryptos. But more downside could be possible, and I'm just trying to keep it simple. Let's look at Bitcoin again though. 3-day. Let's look at our favorite chart. 3-day. Doesn't look very good. Closes today. Definitely want to hold that 187, 18,700. We know how important that is on the 3-day. Let's hide some of these drawings. So if we can do that, that'd be good for the 3-day. 5-day. It's going to close on the 28th. 2-day. Closes today. No, it'll close. Yeah. It's gonna close today. So 18,700. We know how important that is. The penal code for murder. The queen died. You know, not surprising to see us bring down. You know, on the daily right here around the 19th. Cryptocurrencies, where the queen was, you know, she was laid to rest. We did obviously close this candle green, but I mean, we swiped down the day they laid her to rest. Not surprising. It's very exoteric right there. Down $123. 1, 2, 3. Just pretty wild how that is. I don't know. I just think that's esoteric that we saw that. The 22nd, we saw Bitcoin, you know, have a recycle. This was the Fed's recent meeting. We've spoken about this, you know, for quite some time. We'll go ahead and get rid of that as well. It wasn't quite as bad of a, you know, expectation as some were expecting. So boom. Let's go back to the 2-hour time frame. This is 18,700. It's going to be very important. We're looking for a retest of 19,006, 20,000 psychological. This 1993. It's possible to get back up there, you guys, if we can hold this. Again, we've still been treating this as support. No clear resistance retest. Just bounce, bounce, bounce. Just very boring for Bitcoin. The E chart, let's talk about that. It's still hanging around that, you know, $1,200 range we prepared you for, but it's looking really bad for Ethereum. Just this whole structure, it looks very pumpy, dumpy, very nonsense. Whatever happened with this recent merge, again, just it made it very centralized. Proof of stake is very centralized, and a lot of people don't understand that. And you know, there's like 5 exchanges that have most of the Ethereum staked, and that's centralized, you guys, you know. But again, we could still fulfill some of these lower levels, possibly $1,000 that we've talked about, a little bit under, just eating up these wicks and these lower ranges, potential, you know, 1,000 even. I don't know, maybe that $940 range. Yeah, possible. You know, but if Bitcoin was to fall to 12.5, 14K, we could see it, you know, fall even back down to, you know, 350 to 500. You know, I'd definitely be ready to build positions in Ethereum there. You know, other than that, we're just dollar cost averaging in. So definitely want to hold this horizontal range. It was previous rejection. So we had a breakout, never had a back test. That's why we're back testing now, hopefully. So maybe we can climb back up to about 1,600. And that's where it's going to get pretty rocky, you guys. Because if we don't set, that's the last time we got rejected from these two very important moving averages. You know, if we don't set a higher high, get above this 236, then this could be bearish for Ethereum. You know, we'll just have to see if it has some sort of euphoric rise like XRP, you know, before one last final leg down post Shmita, to around 22 cents, that 223 range where we're expecting maybe that 27. You know, we've got multiple limit orders set, so I think XRPs may be leading the way and giving a hint at where we could possibly see some of these other cryptocurrencies that never hit a new all-time high, like XLM or a lot of others, get at least some sort of rally. But it's kind of hard to say. This market right now is not reliable. We've got to be ready to maneuver and, again, be the best audible calling quarterback Peyton Manning out there. Omaha. 26 letters in the alphabet. We've got to have plans for everyone. So very important. So I think that's enough about Ethereum. Let's look at XRP just a little bit more. Just still holding this 47 cent as support. Very important. 47 is the 15th prime number, so in between 51 and 47, as above so below, basically. XRP equals 15. So we can talk about XRP a little bit. Still above these moving averages. This trend line is just very important. Very important. But if we continue to see daily closes above 47 and then above 51, we can still go to this 1618 around 57 to, we'll say 58. XRP equals 58, and then possibly that 62 cent XRP, Ripple XRP equals 62. So again, just a lot of cluster ranges right here at around that 56 cents. Not surprised why we're getting stopped out right here. Just got to bounce from right there. Just using a lot of this as potential. Again, not hopium or nothing. This could be it before we set a downtrend. But I'm just letting you know we could go higher. But this measured move has been completed, you guys. Okay? So, but to get back above this trend line, that's important. It's been going back till March, April highs of almost $2 for XRP. So this is very important. But this could be short-lived. Okay, and that's all I want you to know. But the fact that this hit 55 cents, not surprising. We know, again, we talked about that God, Satan, Timekeeper, Platinum Jubilee, Queen Elizabeth, Satoshi Nakamoto. A lot of these things that we've talked about this year gave us 55. Bitcoin just hit a high of 25K before it sold off for 25 days. 25 is the 2 5s. So, it's just crazy. But we'll have to continue to see how the next couple of weeks go, the next few months go, the next upcoming eclipses. Because I know you guys are going to want to be informed. But we just got to pay attention to these very simple things. The simple moving averages of the 15, 27, 86. XRP gives us 15. Ripple gives us 27, 86. This is bullish, you guys. The 15 above the 27, if we can continue to see that cross above the 57, that black that you can barely see, and stay above this 86, this is a pretty healthy thing, you guys. All these moving averages are in an uptrend. The next move up could be possibly this 2618, which is around $73 or 73 cents. Sorry, good God, that'd be a hell of a range. But 73 is the 21st prime number. We could see it move up to 79, which is the 22nd prime number. Remember, XRP also equals 22, and that's why on the 22nd we had a market cycle reset, and XRP on the 22nd, well, guess what? It moved up. Pay attention right here, and closed that day up 22%. Again, XRP equals 22. We're in the Jewish Hebrew New Year and just transitioned out of the Jewish Hebrew New Year of 5782, or are currently transitioning out of it in the 2022 year. This is a reset. But I do not see XRP heading to a new all-time high anytime soon, you guys. And I'm not saying that to, I'm sorry, but that possible 59, 58 to 62, maybe as high as 76, 86. That would be just a lot to ask for right now. And that fourth 236, that's just, I think, $1. I think that's just at the cards for right now. I'm sorry. But a holder structure right here at 47, it could move up to around here and then just sell off, you guys. And that would be something that wouldn't surprise me. It's possible. But if we come back down and recover on the outside of this trend line, that will just go ahead and extend. That wouldn't be surprising as well. It's just how long do we trade down, over time throughout the end of the year, first quarter next year, heading into the 2-2-3 year. Again, always tying us into skull and bones. I wouldn't be surprised to see this possibility. So, but the CXRP possibly pull down to this 1618.22 cents. It's definitely in the cards for sure. So I think I've talked about a lot today, you guys. We talked about the dollar, the Dow Jones, some crypto, just a lot about the Shmita at the end of the Shmita. We got Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish Hebrew New Year, the 10th day of Tishri coming up. So we'll probably go ahead and leave this here. Again, we've transitioned into Libra, the scales of balance, the scales of justice, and that is associated with the word harmony. And so this is very important. One last thing to say is a big date to pay attention to is, again, the stock market opening tomorrow, the 26th, okay, being a day that leaves 96 days left in the year. And one connection I'll make to this 96, we haven't done a lot of decoding today, but it always ties us back into Odin's eye, Saturn, Kronos, Father Time, giving us that 96. But we'll leave this video here, you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care and God bless. Pioneers rise, build your fortress, and build your legacy.